We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com.
Nick B has some stuff here for us. Nick bought an NES Classic Mini. It uses an HDMI output. But since these are old 8-bit games in 4:3 aspect ratio, he isn't crazy about the idea of playing them on his Kuro Plasma where burn-in is a possibility. He's concerned about the side black staying better, like burning in the middle, I guess, and all of the non-moving parts of games. He has an old Mitsubishi rear projection DLP TV in his living room, along with an old 5.1 receiver that does not have any HDMI inputs. He'd rather connect the NES Classic Mini to this system, but the TV only has a single DVI video input, and he needs to be able to switch between a couple of HDMI sources, plus feed optical audio to his receiver in that room. He doesn't want to spend more than $50 to make this happen. Any suggestions? And I see a Monoprice link, and I was about to say, you can fix that problem.
Yes, you can. Yeah. So over at Monoprice, they have a brand called Blackbird that does HDMI switches. So they have a model that I like to recommend. It's actually a 4x2 matrix switch. So it does even more than what you need to do here. But what I like about it is it does allow for audio extraction, which is what you need, because that NES Classic Mini, it doesn't have an optical audio port. It only has HDMI. So if you're feeding HDMI just to the display, then you still need a separate way of getting the audio from it if you don't have an HDMI receiver.
So the Monoprice device you have linked to and are speaking of will pull the audio out of an HDMI signal and send out an optical?
That's right, as long as it's a signal that's compatible with optical. But I can't imagine that there's anything other than stereo audio coming out of an NES Classic Mini, because they didn't have any surround sound in the original NES. So as long as it's a signal that's compatible with optical, which is any Sony Philips digital interface SPDIF signal, which is 2-channel PCM or 5.1 Dolby Digital or 5.1 DTS, as long as that's the signal coming via HDMI, it can extract that and send it out of its own optical output.
I wish I'd known about this device back when I bought my receiver 2 years ago. I might not have needed the receiver.
And then, of course, being 4 in, 2 out, there's no difficulty connecting 2 HDMI sources to the thing. And then you will just need an HDMI to DVI converter cable.
That's just a cable, yeah.
But those things are completely compatible. There's no problem sending an HDMI signal to a DVI input. So yeah, this is, what is it? It's under $50, right? $49.
Well, it's right at 50. So technically, you've busted his $50 budget by the time he buys the cable, because the cable's going to be several dollars.
If he said he was connecting an HDMI source to this DVI input.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
so he may very well. Yeah.
I'm assuming he has some way of doing that for that one source.
So you nailed it. Yes. If he has that cable, you nailed it. $49.99. Beat it by a penny. Excellent.
Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.